An alien monster broke into the house. Annie trembled as she hid under the bed. The next moment, the monster jumped down from the bed, searching everywhere for Annie. Annie held her breath in fear. Fortunately, the monster couldn't find her and left directly through the window. Annie finally relaxed, breathing heavily. She quickly crawled out from under the bed, ran over to close the window. Still shaken, Annie leaned against the wall, gasping for air. After collecting herself, Annie decided to secure all the other doors and windows. But as she reached the living room, the lights and sounds in the house began flashing erratically. Terrified, Annie scrambled around, searching for the remote control, trying to turn off the flickering TV. But no matter how hard she pressed the power button, the TV didn't respond. Thinking quickly, Annie crouched down to unplug it, finally shutting off the chaotic television. She then rushed to unplug all other electronics. The frantic living room finally quieted down. But suddenly the surroundings became eerily silent. Annie went to the telephone to call for help. But the next second, such a bizarre sight frightened Annie into running away. But just as she left the kitchen, she saw the monster coming down the stairs. Fortunately, Annie hid in time, avoiding being discovered. In panic, Annie was forced to retreat to the kitchen, where she hid behind a cabinet, not daring to move. But the next moment, the refrigerator door suddenly swung open, slamming toward Annie. Luckily, it was blocked by the cabinet, saving Annie from injury. Before she could recover, footsteps approached in her direction. As the footsteps grew closer, Annie looked down. The monster had silently arrived before her. Annie looked up and saw several long, thin fingers slowly gripping the refrigerator door. In that critical moment, Annie violently pushed the refrigerator door, then got up and ran. But just as she reached the front door, she was struck by an exploding door panel. With just one hit, Annie became dizzy and disoriented. But there was no time to rest. She quickly dragged her heavy body, crawling toward the living room. But the monster happened to walk over. Seeing Annie trying to escape, it flipped over the table in front of her. The monster could apparently control objects telekinetically. Sure enough, before Annie could react, an unknown force from behind began dragging her backward. In her panic, Annie grabbed a shard from the ground. Then she was lifted into the air by this mysterious force. Surprisingly, the monster was dispatched by Annie's single strike. The monster quickly collapsed, motionless. The frightened Annie hurried to hide nearby, spending the night in terror. When morning came, Annie planned to go report to the police, but discovered many people with strange expressions gathered outside her door. Black shadows flashed through the dark clouds, as if something was breaking through. Annie immediately realized she had killed an alien, and its companions had come for revenge.